Watching the Insight here on TV 47, we continue pace with the conversation with our panelists, and I was just highlighting also what is coming through from tomorrow's publication of the Star, that Ojwang, or it says, tortured into coma in Karura. Maybe just to read a snippet of it here, what it says, that, hang on, it says that Albert Ojwang, the father of a young family, beloved high school teacher and outspoken social media influencer, was tortured inside Karura Forest before he was taken unconscious to Central Police Station, where he died. Credible sources have revealed to the Star. Contrary to the conflicting accounts by police of what transpired, a clear picture has emerged of a carefully planned secret operation involving powerful figures within the security establishment. Sources close to the ongoing investigation say between 9:35 p.m. and 1:39 a.m., the time of Ojwang's death, as recorded in the occurrence book, he was removed from his cell and taken to Karura Forest. The truth is, Ojwang was in good condition when booked, but he was moved later that night, tortured and returned nearly lifeless, said a source familiar with the case who spoke on condition of anonymity. Your reaction?
I think
again, Dr. Werunga.
I think before we get there, I want us to go.
Oh, it was actually Wino. Oh, yeah, yes. Dr.
You know, there are procedures of handling prisoners in custody. One of the things that happens is that once a prisoner is in custody, it is in custody of the report office personnel. There's a report office officer in charge of report office, bookings, and there is what we call a cell sentry, the one in charge of the cell, the two of them. And now, most importantly, the OCS as the overall boss. The training of the police is such that if you are in report office or cell sentry, because the police station is always one for every police officer, where you book, even if it is DCI, the report office is one. And I don't know what's happening now, but for a very long time, even what we call the charge register, the serious charge register is one. Even the serials of the case file was one. Even the charge sheets, all of them were charged by the OCS. It didn't matter which section is charging you. And therefore, when you are removing a person from custody, even for interrogation, then it is booked in the OB and in the cell register. If it will be found to be true, those allegations, that somebody could have been moved at midnight to Karura, if it is true, I don't know, because I'm not investigating, I'm not privy to the information. Then, the persons who are at the report office, if they never booked, even if they were not involved, they take responsibility. Because they will become principal offenders when you aid or abet, because by refusing to book, then you are aiding or you are abetting a process and you become a principal offender. So it's a circus, as he put it, but I have the confidence, because even in IPOA, they are not just IPOA. IPOA has recruited very experienced criminal investigators who are there, who have capacity, who know what they are doing. So I'm not in doubt that Ojwang's case will be resolved just like we resolved Willie Kimani's case. Ojwang's case will be resolved. And I'm giving a timeline. I know by Monday latest, most likely somebody or some people will have to be charged. But also remember, in any investigation, you must be broad. You know, criminals can create narratives and divert people's attentions. And more so if criminals happen to be people involved, investigators, police officers, if they are involved, then people can divert attention. And people may be crucifying persons who may not be involved. You never know we have succession politics, we have what politics, we have a lot of politics in places where people, I'm not bringing politics in this, but I'm just opening space.
You're saying the institutional politics.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Succession politics.
Don't talk. Excuse me.
Within the institution,
yes.
Kanja is supposed to be.
Excuse me.
Soon.
Yeah,
yes.
he's almost.
We have not said
internal
that.
succession politics. He's
So
quietly saying
what
that.
I'm saying is, let us be very careful, and that is why, as a country, when we have such problems, we must remain united. It doesn't matter who has done it, who is involved. It has happened, but we must remain united. We must be focused. We must not allow anybody to divert our attention from actual investigations, and therefore, as the President said, let's give the investigators and more so IPOA an opportunity to give us a chronology of events and facts.
All right. Before we took a short break, I had asked you, and I think I'd commented regarding the irregular in the security sector. Would you kindly just make it limpid for us what that particular, the irregular is and how they really game the system? Because now, when we're talking about these men in hoodies who are abducting young Kenyans and they're being tortured, some enforced disappearance, we cannot put, names and track number of these police officers. And I had just indicated that even the IG himself, when he appeared before the court, he was at pains to explain who are these abductors at the end of the day. Who are the irregulars?
Security is wide, and many people are involved in managing security issues depending on the departments. If you're talking about poaching, we have wildlife.
Yes, I agree, but who are the irregular?
No. There's nobody who is irregular. Every person has his role to play. Just like you are here in the media house, I'm sure there's somebody who was in charge of the programs, there's somebody in charge of lights, there's somebody in charge of camera. But at the end of the day, you are supposed to give a consistent production.
Of course, we do. We can't have it, documented
So
as the
you've
irregulars,
had,
but that you have an amorphous figure called the irregulars within the sector.
No, there's no amorphous figure. Every person is accountable. Let me tell you, if people refuse to
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
If people refuse,
person is accountable, but the irregular, it is actually meant to game the system so that they are not accountable.
No, then you should tell us, because I don't know. From where I sit.
You will not.
He will not tell me.
He will not tell you. He will not tell you. But none other than the president himself, when he was campaigning and when he was taking power, told us about the existence of certain squads within the security sector that were responsible for. Of course, today you can hear also from the other side, they are also telling us. So what Charles will not tell you, that every system has some form of irregular security doing 1, 2, 3 things. When there was a time when Moi woke up one day and he said, now he wants special DOs. Their jobs were very amorphous. They were not to any script. So that has happened, and even within the security sector, there are certain arrangements that would be irregular, but answering to certain needs. So that is something that...
I can see Dr. Urunga smiling coyly here. Maybe he's got something up his collective sleeves. You can tell us?
Charles is a very smart person. He will never answer you, but he knows that in every system we have what we don't call them irregular, they are called parallel systems. So this is the main, this is the parallel. This one never reports to this chain. Like we said, this one will report to a certain chain to do whatever they need to do. And it's not in Kenya alone. It's just that now I think we are seeing it all over the place. But in any developing democracy, I want to use that word, developing democracy.
So before we go to democracy, I just wanted to be very pointed because of time as well.
I'm not saying
Is this parallel system involved in the abduction?
I'm not saying we have them in Kenya. I'm giving you the background of how it happens. We have parallel systems and we have
But did you hear
official
what he had to say? Yeah?
So that is, and it's all over, by the way. It's all over the world. I think some of us have traveled. We see these things.
Of course, it has also been here
Yes.
before.
This is what, if you look at the former Eastern Europe, for example,
Gestapo.
the Kioskos and the others, but back.
Yeah, so those systems are there for those of us who have.
It's sort of the Wagner.
No, even Wagner is open. Wagner is open. It's
fully
not-
fledged.
Yeah, but these parallel systems are always amorphous.
Yeah.
You can't touch them. You don't know who they are. You
Charles
don't know
says
who
there's
they
nothing
report.
like amorphous.
No, they're always there. They're always there.
I said what?
But
I
There's
don't
nothing like amorphous.
Dibal, before
Excuse
we
me.
Let him
I've
finish.
said I don't know.
You said you don't know.
No, but
Okay.
this is, treat him with a bit of understanding. That he's a man of the
They're not
system.
there. He says
He's a man of the system.
he doesn't know.
He does, yeah.
Where I
He's,
sit,
And I'm also generalizing that these things exist. We've seen them in the former Eastern Europe. We've seen them in many African countries, but they are there. And they're created for a purpose. Either it's political, either it is context, but they're always there. There are always systems that never report to the main system.
Okay.
But before I finish, because this is a bit of a learning lesson, I think you talked about the issues of torture, and I wanted to bring to the notice of my colleagues. When you look at the National Police Service Act, I think it's section 95, it speaks very clearly about torture in the police service. It has even given penalties. If an officer is found to engage in penalties, it's called cruel. They use two things, cruel and torture. There's one that you are supposed, if you are found guilty, you'll be jailed for not less than 25 years.
I think that is the Prevention of Torture Act.
Yeah. No. It is even in the National Police Service
okay.
Act. I think section 95, 1, 2, 3. So it's already been captured. It's not something that we need to go and look for other laws. When you go to the police service orders, when you look at chapter 56, which speaks about the functions of a police station, and there are many down there, they still speak about the same. So these things are already been taken very serious by the police themselves. What you are just saying is that we don't have mechanisms to enforce. Because if they could think that torture, you should be jailed for 25 years, they understand the seriousness and the magnitude of what a police officer should not do to a fellow Kenyan. So I think that's what I wanted to share, because...
Which is good. Maybe just to make limpid on what the Prevention of Torture Act also says.
Yes.
It says that is subsection 5, offense of torture. Any person who tortures another person commits an offense and shall be liable, just as you stated,
Yes.
on conviction to imprisonment for a term of not exceeding 25 years.
Yes.
2, if as a result of torture referred to under subsection 1, the victim dies, the person is liable on conviction to imprisonment for life.
Yes. So
For life.
They're very serious about this, and
So
it's already captured.
So this is already actually
Yes.
in the Act.
It's
So
in the Police Service Act, and it is their standing orders.
Dibal,
You want
what
to
is
say-
most important is that in police, unlike army, officers take individual responsibility for what you've done. You know, the military, when you are to act, then you plan, you plot. If it is bombing, you bomb on instructions. But police officers always find themselves in situations where they have no opportunity or privilege to refer to their books or their superiors. You are in an environment, you are in River Road, there is robbery, there is what, and the robbers have a gun, you also have a gun, the people are many. You start asking yourself, do I shoot at this point? If I shoot and I kill somebody with a stray bullet, what happens? So within that short time, you ought to make your mind on what you ought to do. And many times you take individual responsibility. So whoever, a well-trained police officer will always know that at the end of the day, you'll take individual responsibility. And you cannot come and say, I was told, so-and-so told me. It becomes very difficult. So at the end of the day, there is even no need to worry much, because those officers concerned will take individual responsibility. The only thing that can help them, and not even also help them much, that if they can corroborate within themselves and say, I was asked by so-and-so to do this, which also in law, you cannot take unlawful instructions.
And just to finalize on that,
I think it is Joshua. I come to Joshua.
No, I just want to finish.
Okay, final. Okay, finish it.
Yeah. It also speaks to what we call the concept of. Why am I forgetting now?
He's thrown
Mixed
you
up
off
your thoughts. They
balance.
doubled up. Well, yeah, it will come back.
Yes, but it speaks to the fact that every police officer, yes, discretion, the concept of discretion. And when we are discussing about police responsibilities, that individual policeman or policewoman has that responsibility for discretion. What Charles is talking about, that officer will decide on his or her own to arrest you. They will decide on their own to shoot you. So the concept of that discretion has become a major issue, especially when we are looking at the police reforms in this country. And we are looking at it, if this officer as an individual has a responsibility to decide what needs to be done, then what are we supposed to do in terms of training them so that they, as they grow into the system, they also understand that very heavy concept of discretion. That has been an issue with our police service.
Thank you.
And I think that's why we are saying that even the issue of training should be made so robust that when an officer leaves any training college, they have such a responsibilities on their shoulders because they understand they'll make decisions as individuals.
So do we need any upskilling and retraining, especially in light of the cybercrime acts that we are seeing? Police, they are not really conversant on how they should approach this sort of crimes?
I think we've offered as a government or as a country, we've offered lip service on that. Every single time such an incident happened, you never fail to hear the word training and retraining.
Yeah.
But how far have we gone on that? How much budgetary allocation have we put for that? How much follow-up have we done on that? How much of refresher courses and facilitation of the same that we've done for the police service? Which, even if you look at reports that have tried to audit police reforms as envisaged by the 2010 Constitution 2010, not much. What the aspiration, asking, and the write-up on reports, policy, audit, vis-a-vis the reality don't match. If you look at the basic operation of police stations, that just gives you the testament of where we are. So when you talk about training and retraining, and I heard the Cabinet Secretary mentioning the same, at the end of the day, it's a question of doing it. So it is indeed important. But when can we move away from just playing lip service to it? I was happy that the Cabinet Secretary himself mentioned that the police need training and retraining. But I would want then the Senate to hold that accountability check, and even the National Assembly specifically, follow up with specifics, so that every time, for example, the Ministry of Interior comes to defend their budget, we only see ministries and sagas defending budget, but we've never seen them defending what they have executed. They only defend allocations. That you've denied us this money, you've removed this money, but we've never spoken about this was a promise. Because as sure as the sun rises, such incident will still arise. No doubt about that. And we will still be here, and the same prescription will still come. When does it stop?
Let me not miss this opportunity because Charles is here. We do not have the intention in this country to have a well-trained, unified police service. We had it when we had the opportunity to merge the administration police and the regular police. Have we done that? No. Do we still run them separately, independently? Yes. Do we still train them in different ways? Yes. Does the regular police training in Kiganjo, is it different from the police training in Embakasi for APs? Yes. So what are we talking about? We are not likely. And do we love the police, the Embakasi group? Yes. Why? They are rough and they can be deployed and they can do things that the regular police will think twice before they do it. Do we still want to use them even in the villages? Yes. Have we said that we want to give them to chiefs? Yes. So we don't have intentions to have a police service that respects the law, works within the law, and is responsive. For a long time, the difference between the regular police and the AP was exactly that, the training, the law that they got, and the general etiquette that they were. On this other end, it was the police force that was established by the colonialists to go after the African rebellion or African fellows who are against the state. You know, in other words, we still have colonial apparatus.
Yes.
And the colonial, instruments and even syllabus and thinking in 60 years down the line. So we are not work in progress.
Thank you.
On that side.
Finally, maybe Charles, you might answer, because I had the PS of Interior. I think he spoke in December when we had all this, abductions ongoing, that the police will be equipped and facilitated with body cams, so that we will actually be tracking and we know we can actually get this information, like what really happened from Homa Bay until here in Nairobi. All that will be captured by the body cam. What really happened to it? Because I think also for
I'm no longer in the regular police administration.
I know.
I will be lying, Dibal, to say that I know what they are purchasing.
He has not retired.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you've talked of having some interests. I don't know what will be, because...
No.
But are you privy to any information like that?
No, I'm not. But you see, Dibal, we have discussed this with you since, I think, ever since you started. The issue of body cameras, you've always raised it.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. But I can say, ordinarily it is necessary.
Do you think it will have made a huge discernible difference?
It makes a difference. But you see, if somebody says you can switch off CCTV, you could still switch off your body camera. But it's only that when you do that, it also gives investigators some impetus to be able to justify circumstantially that you are guilty. Because you'll be asked, why did you do that?
Switch off your body camera?
Ordinarily, it's good to have. It's just like the way it is good to have speed cameras instead of having people standing on the road. The way these, what we used to call the IC3, the systems you've seen on the road here, where we have had cameras all over and really managed car thefts and robberies. So it's important. It's good to have them. But the question also is that these things cannot be done, they cannot be done without planning, they cannot be done without budget. There must be planning, there must be budget. But what I can say, which I've always said, police gives bodyguards to politicians and the drivers. And many politicians, their mind is policemen are bodyguards and watchmen. Policemen are officers of the law. Policemen are officers of the law. And I can tell you, no matter how much you'll have brilliant lawyers, they draft good laws. Even in parliament, you pass good laws. But who enforces the law? So we must rethink as a country on investing in the police and making it a noble service. What do I mean by a noble service? A service that anybody, today, many people are willing to join the military. Your son has done well. You don't mind if he's a cadet in the military because maybe the pay is better. They are not involved in so many of these issues. So you must think as a country, how do we make our police service noble? How do we make it attractive? In 1954, Bernard Hinga, who was the first commissioner of police, was a student in Alliance High School and was supposed to attend Makerere for his diploma, then in law. But the commissioner then, the deputy commissioner who became the commissioner, Catling, they knew after the emergency in 52 that Kenya would soon get Uhuru. So they started looking for Africans who would join the police with good level of education. And Hinga with Division 1 in 1955 was recruited as a direct entry inspector. Kanyot was recruited in 1959 from Makerere. And many senior police officers had very good levels of education, well trained, and even ways in which we were getting recruited even to DCI, the way we work together as a team. Then suddenly, people have just started thinking that police is an institution, that you take your children who have failed school certificate, or your children who have been taking bangi in secondary school. At your window, we amenishinda uniandikie police. Are you getting me? We must make police service a noble. My uniform is beautiful.
Yes.
The authority that you have that you can stop, search and detain is a privilege that cannot be abused. Huwezi kojoa kwa kofia ya serikali. You can't. By doing a wrong thing, by killing someone, by torturing someone, by refusing to assist, they are not a policeman. You are something else.
But we've seen
So what I'm saying is, if it is debal. These things have been encouraged by people thinking that policemen are watchmen. They are not.
But we have policemen who are graduates.
No,
Actually, they had a fight.
Even with
I want to correct you.
And there has been that particular rift.
I want to correct you. In the current system, people, when we went to school, a person who got Division 4 could not become a graduate. Even if you had a third division without a combination, you could not become a graduate.
You can still do bridging.
Are you getting me?
Bridging is allowed.
Fine, but it was minimal because very few people had capacity even to go abroad, even to go to India. Even lawyers were very few because it attracted people with very high points. The most important thing in recruitment of police is not even your level of education, it is your IQ, your intellect content. If today I'm recruiting 10 graduates,
intelligence quotient,
and you have come 100, what will make me pick graduate A and leave B is when you have undertaken an aptitude test. Because police officers think on their foot. But it is not the police, it is Kenyans.
Discretion.
It is Kenyans who have felt, because you can't do medicine with D+. You cannot be a second lieutenant in the military if you did not attain grade B plain and above. You cannot be a second lieutenant in the military. And if ever you will be, because of one reason or another, you cannot be allowed to move beyond a captain.
No. But maybe then Charles could tell us, what was the issue about the dispute about the police graduates?
It was not that. Yeah. No. Let me tell you something that happened. No. Let me tell you something that happened. No, I'll answer you. Yeah. Let me tell you what happened. Two issues which you must know.
Remember, I was in
that after the Constitution 2010, and when we came with the Police Service Commission, in our act, we said minimum requirement for recruitment in police was C plain for constables. Parliament opposed it, and it was amended. It was not us. It was done by Parliament who wanted to recruit people with D+. It was not the police. We said, and we agreed in our team, Kiraide, Kingori Mwangi, and the rest. We
right.
We need
to bring it to
Then the issue of graduates is that we have officers, when we were recruiting at the recruitment point, because of issues of management, we cannot recruit everyone as a graduate. We only recruit a small portion. So you would find in every recruitment center, we'd recruit one graduate or two. But now what happened with the parallel degree programs,
they went to school.
Many people went to school and they became graduates. And you find some graduates, maybe with D+, getting an opportunity to go for special SIP, and somebody who came with A or B plain remains. Because now people have started saying a graduate is a graduate. We even proposed, then let us do this. Let's say, for us to consider you, because even in the military, we have people with PhDs, and they are warrant officers, because they never attained B plain. They are warrant officers and they have PhDs and they are in the military. They never attained B plain. So we said, even the police, let's have individuals, let's say, minimum requirement for special inspectorate. let us not put it at B like military, but at least let's put it at C+. Or in the old system, let's put it at 2.
It just speaks of what.
So what I'm saying,
Dr.
what I'm
Martin
saying
Olo
is,
said.
what I'm saying
He
is,
said we lack the intention.
excuse me, it is not the police, it is the public.
But
It's the public.
What I was going to say.
Is there a neurosis within the police force that a graduate is not a graduate?
No, let me say this.
No.
I hear what he's saying, but I'm against the basic criteria. Progression is something that comes to us. A carpenter who has done work over time should be assessed as that and be graded and eventually.
Excuse me, he's not saying what, he's not getting me right.
I'm getting it right.
No.
Because you're insisting on a B.
No.
What are you insisting on?
No.
Yeah.
I have said,
Yes.
when he talked about graduates, we are talking about what we call special inspectorate. In just a minute,
Yeah.
let me explain to you.
Yeah.
Special inspectorate means we are promoting you from constable to inspector. In the police service, unlike the army, even if you come with your division 1 or 2, or even if you come with your B, and you are a constable and you become a sergeant and you become a chief inspector, nobody stops you from becoming a superintendent and an assistant inspector general. The progression is allowed. So the ability of an individual, because also people come from different backgrounds. And I can tell you, we had officers, it's unfortunate I can't mention them, I know about 3 or 4, who are CPE certificate holders, who passed with 36 points. They came from disadvantaged areas. They never had opportunity to join secondary. They were as brilliant as any other person who had gone to university, as long as they had the experience and performed better than many of us.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying is that what we are talking about the special inspectorate, where you move from...
I'm with you on that one. The only point I'm making...
We need to bring it to a close.
Sometimes grades and education is overrated. A good policeman is not because of education and because of academic and other things. No. It is the training, the growing into, and the experience and the culture of the police service. That's what is lacking.
That is professional policing.
Yeah,
but when you're looking at leadership, that's what he's talking about.
But even that,
strategic.
let me tell you, we kill ourselves with qualifications. Yes. When you look at even the foreign service of many of these developed countries, most times the fellow at the top of it isn't even a graduate, but an experienced person who has grown through the system and understand.
I think you did not get me right, huh? And you are putting...
all I'm saying
no.
is that there is a place for both.
Excuse me.
We need to bring it.
See that?
The thing is,
no.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you.
Charles needs to also understand.
No, I understand.
In my training, I can't say what you are doing. That you stop me. I can't stop you. I'll allow you to make your case.
You are putting me on bad light. No.
Okay. I think he's explained well.
He's putting me on bad light.
Yes.
Because he's trying to propagate that I think that only people with... Let me tell you, during our old system, which he went through, we had people who went to what we used to call the technical schools. Many of them never made it even to advanced level, but they went to polytechnics, they did engineering, and later, in the progress of work, they even went to universities, and they have made better engineers. Even in the police system, we have officers who started as constables, they have become corporals, they have become sergeants, and the experience is superb.
Thank you.
Their mode of selection is superb.
Thank you.
What we were talking about are the people who are jumped. The people who move from constable to inspectorate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's answered well. Only 2 things that I feel are missing that has been the bone, and even police officers always complain. The principle of fairness and consistency even when it comes to promotion. Do you remember the 2 instances that we've had promotion the last 2 years? It has been controversial until one was even shelved, because it is said, even despite the rules and the manuals being there, it is not followed. It is more of patronage. So as what Dr. Martin Olo is saying, do we have the intention to follow through and implement real reforms, which speaks of the culture, professional ethics? We don't need to introduce, we don't even need to burden them much. And I'm happy Owino has explained well the issue of graduates. He's even made it clear the police service for them, they have not discriminated. But the issue is about their culture. That's why I was targeting this common talk on training. training. We keep talking about it, but have we had that intention? That was what Martin asked. Do we have that intention? Do we still have AP seen as AP and regular policing a regular police? By the time we accommodate them by saying we have a DIG that purportedly represents AP and another represents, in short, the AP looks up at their person as that DIG. They don't look up at the IG. For them, they know their chain of command. And that tells you the lack of clear intention. Did you see the Maraga report, the one that they were doing about reforms?
It did.
They spoke of the same issues, nothing new. If you unpack the report, if you look back as to what led to us establishing the National Police Service Commission, it's a copy-paste. Same issues. So do we have the real intention to actually execute all this that you talk about?
You know, when he talks about copy-pasting, and I was a member
of that particular task force,
it offends me.
I don't say copy-pasting. Wait,
okay,
I don't say, no.
It was not in.
No. I say,
no.
okay, let me correct. Let me correct. What I mean, what his team did way back in 2010, the issues still stand. I'm sure he would feel bad that 10 years down the line, despite them clearly breaking down what needs to be done, is he proud or is he disappointed that the same issues still find itself? How does it feel now for him, having done a very splendid job?
Did you have access to this report?
The latest one.
Yeah.
The Maraga team.
Yes. It was launched. Now
it was launched, but where is it?
It was never shared.
It's never shared, and this is the question I wanted. Is it embargoed?
This is what I'll tell you.
Why is it not shared?
And I was the chair of several serious subcommittees. What we did with the Maraga team, I was a member of that team. The recommendations we put in that report, based on all these things he's talking about.
Yes.
Like what Charles was talking about, 204. That was the first actually report on police reforms. It was chaired by Dr. Mutonyi. Am I right, Charles?
Yeah, yes.
Dr. Mutonyi. So what we did, we looked at all these documents. And we looked at what has been done, what was not done, the reasons why it was not done. And then we gave ourselves this framework and we said, whatever we need to produce now, the police should never have another task force for the next 50 years. Mm-hmm. So we went through all these things, we looked at the recommendations, we looked at the challenges, everything about even the graduates is talking about, and we decided this could be the right thing. And what we did, we were lucky enough to be given money to go around the country. There's no county we didn't go to speak to police officers. So everything we were thinking, everything we were planning, we had to sit with officers in all the 47 counties in this country. And not once. We'll go to a county, we meet 3 or 4 groups of police officers in different sub-counties. So whatever we came up with, our clear vision was, whatever we want to do now, the government should never again for the next 30 years or so talk about police reform.
Another task force.
And we took care of all these problems we are talking about here. Issues of graduates, that's when we met those officers who are complaining, and one of the biggest problems we had, and that's why I mentioned the word bridging, but he didn't probably get me. So there was this issue what Charles is talking about. An officer joined with a D. Then next time you hear he has a degree from one of these universities, I don't want to mention.
Yeah, one of them.
But he had a D. But there are those who went through the normal bridging system, where you come in with a D, you get a certificate, you get this advanced certificate, you get a diploma, then you get your undergraduate. Those ones we said they have gone through the right process. Because even Mazuri was a Division 3.
Professor
Karega Mutai. So we say those ones who have gone through the bridging system and they have passed, qualified, and got their degrees, let them be handled differently from those that we know you cannot have a D and you become a graduate. It doesn't work anywhere. So it was taken, I think I have a copy, Wakili, I have a copy.
You actually handed over to the president the report.
Yes.
And the commitment was given by the Interior Ministry, including the PS, Raymond Omolo.
Yeah.
They actually echoed your word. And they said, never again should we go back in studying and trying to understand. I keep going back to this. Is there the will and the intention?
The will is not there.
But the report
but I was telling him
captured everything.
that what they should have done is to also investigate some of those degrees, because
No, we did.
some of these degrees are also bogus.
No, we did. That's why
They're also-
we say
They're also bogus.
Yeah.
Because for the DEO straight, you have a...
Yeah, and that's why we said,
Yes.
just to finish, I know it's taking a bit of time.
Yes, let's finish.
So we
My
said,
director
what
is on my
Charles has
case.
just said here about, we created 2 parallel systems. And we said, for example, if a person is a constable and is rising through the ranks, he should not go beyond the chief inspector. If he's never gone through the normal masomo mzuri. But then there was this other one, we said the cadets. So we created 2 parallel systems, the way the army has. The army has both. You can join as a private, you rise through the ranks, you are given what we call special commission. But you can never go beyond a lieutenant colonel. And most of the times, those ones are specialized officers. So either you're a doctor, you're a chef, you're whatever, you're a padre, so you go up to lieutenant colonel.
Thank you.
So that's, I think, what is important. Kenyans know that this report, if you take your time, I think is about 900 pages or 700 and something.
Just
read.
read. Ilisomwa kweli?
Tulipeana, but we had a
We need to
brief.
wind up. We need to wind up. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's
just
wind up.
finish-
Let's wind up. Please, please, please.
To finish on that one, because I'll not speak again.
Okay.
You talked about the body cams.
Yeah, the body comes.
You and I, you know, Charles knows. There was this project of 2015, 15 billion by Safaricom. It was speaking about the same thing. Wakaweka a few cameras in town. They created like a small operational center in Jogo House. We told them this one cannot work. They told us they're going to have some cameras in Mombasa, 15 billion.
Disappeared like
It
that.
was a major project that if it had worked, we will not be talking about those body cams. We will not be talking about iris. It's called what? Iris identification. It was a good program, but kenda chini ya maji.
All right.
Thank you.
Dr. Charles, Dr. Martin Olo, your closing remarks?
Well, it's been nice having us here, and it's always good to discuss on matters that can help us improve as a country. We are work in progress. Unfortunately, at 60, we are still work in progress, and at 60, some of us are grandparents and so on, and we are not growing any younger. So this country is very resilient. This country just requires the right attitude, the right culture, and we go somewhere. It should never be normalized that the people who are supposed to protect Kenyans can actually take advantage of their position and torture and kill. And it cannot be, whether it is the police, the DCI, the who, we have to make everybody accountable. We have good constitution. Everything we've talked about here, the constitution will not allow it. Whether there's another law or not, the constitution will not allow it. We have the rule of law. We need to abide by the law so that we are guided by the law, and we need to ensure accountability. All of us here, whether we are serving in small spaces or bigger spaces. But above all, we need to assure ourselves that from where we sit as the legal fraternity, and particularly the law society, we will continue to take public interest litigation seriously, because we have to litigate on these issues. And that's why I'm happy that any policeman who has issues should come, and there are enough lawyers who will be interested, including Joshua here, to help us to get to the bottom of this.
You're being set
so
up.
that we don't have anybody, better release a criminal out here to work than to have an innocent person convicted for what they have not done.
Indeed. True. Right.
My
Closing
closing remarks are quite
Yes,
clear.
go.
I just want to echo or to pick up what Werunga mentioned. Their report was conclusive. The idea of the whole task force was to finally put to bed the issues that have bedeviled the police service. And this time, there's a bit of experience to ride on. By the time we did the Constitution 2010, there was an assumption that everything will just fall in place. There was this jubilation and high expectation that done, and everything will fall in place. Now we have a National Police Service Commission. We are trying to fuse together the different arms of police, like, for example, the regular police, the AP. But time has proven that true to the word, and the task force now came to unpack and confirm that we are not yet there. And as Dr. Martin Alo says, we are work in progress. Now, this is the best time. We always contextualize such time. There's a common saying in Ethiopia that they're always accused in their country that they never miss an opportunity to lose an opportunity. Despite it being really a tragic situation where we lose the life of a young person, but can it be the rallying call and the basis where we contextualize the reforms and the recommendations that were already clear there? Because there is nothing to talk about, okay, let's go back to the drawing board, let's find out what the issue is. No, it should be a question of the way the CS Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, said it very eloquently in Senate. Can he just then, and his team together, I also saw the tweet shared by Raymond Omolo, the same condemning and saying the police service has to change. Why don't they then just don't even have to struggle? We are going into a new financial year. Contextualize and give a legacy for Mr. Ojwang by confirming that whatever the president accepted from the Maraga task force and vis-a-vis what has happened, let it be the never again moment by real intention, follow-up, and actionable things that can be seen have been done for the reforms. Next time should be then a case of we'll be saying we've even done 40%, 50% things. And let it be a work and progress, because governance is never a snap of a finger. Sure. It's a progressive exercise. But this is the best time to contextualize those reforms.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Charles Owino.
My concern is every time a policeman makes a mistake, we say the police service. It's high time we always follow complaints as they are and take action against individuals who commit crimes, whether they are in uniform or not. I've always said that the fact that you are a bishop does not mean that you cannot get a child who is a criminal. And therefore, police being a large family of over 120,000, we will in many a times still find one or two committing crimes or doing things that are not right. But most importantly, Kenyans should also not treat their police officers as members of a certain level, third class, or treat policemen as watchmen. It's high time we get to know that we can never have two police services, we only have one. If we are attacked here now, we will call the same police that we want to describe to be dogs. So it is important we become very careful on how we handle matters concerning the National Police Service. But most importantly, let's make the police noble. Let's make it an institution that is attractive to the best brains, and not only to the best brains, because the underlining standard of a policeman is discipline. Because without discipline as a policeman, you cannot achieve much. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter how good you are, the police officers must be intelligent. So you must be disciplined. So what I would want to take is that it is our country. It is not about passing blames. We have a responsibility to have a very noble police service that will serve us. And when a problem arises, let us not rush on rumors, because many a times when we put in so many rumors, let's condemn and let's push that we must get truth. But let's not put so many rumors on the channel, because they may deviate the actual facts that need to be proved in this matter. So my take is it's unfortunate we've lost this young man, the only child to his parents. It is very, very unfortunate. And it is also very unfortunate that it has come, allegedly, and most likely from the hands of people who are supposed to have protected him. It's a big shame on us, for those who have been in the uniform, that such acts should never, never, never happen again.
Thank you. Yes. Finally, I'll be remiss if I also don't give you a sporting chance to also just give closing remarks.
Yes,
Dr. Werunga.
Thank you, Dibal. I think, like colleagues have said, this could be you use the word eureka. And I urge our lawyers, this, you call it pro bono, litigation,
public interest
services, public interest. I think if we run through with this case of Ojwang, and it is properly mitigated, this could be the turning point Because by the time we are done with this process, chips will be down. Those who will have taken responsibility will be down. And those who are remaining in the service will realize that I'm on my own, even as I get my orders to do ABCD. So my prayer, first to the family, all of us have condoled with them. We've wished them recovery, but I think as a country, we need to take this as a rallying point, rallying call, and ensure that such a things. I'm shocked, Dibal, that I was reading somewhere, sorry, when this young man was butchered, was it over the weekend? There was some young boy who was being abducted somewhere. I mean, what is it with us? What is it with this country?
Indeed.
That is my closing remarks.
Thank you.
We need to pray for ourselves. We need to make sure that people take responsibility, and those who mess up should be held to account.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I really do appreciate Dr. Virunga Simiyu, the CEO of Africa Center for Security and Strategic Studies, also former immediate Homeland Security Advisor at the Ministry of Interior. Thank you for coming through. Dr. Charles Owino as well, National Communications Center Director General. Really do appreciate you coming through as well. Dr. Martin Olo, who's an advocate of the High Court and also Associate Dean, School of Law, DStv University. We really do appreciate. And also Joshua Kipto, advocate of the High Court. And I normally forget the initiative of the South Sudan that also you're heavily involved in. Just Tumaini South Sudan, yeah. Tumaini South Sudan mediation, right? Thank you for coming through. I really do appreciate this cogent discussion that we've had, and we hope and pray that this country will have a defining moment. Even this will be an inflection moment in trying to implement the police reforms that you've been working on as well. Because I can see this truly is a man's inhumanity to man. And of course, we have a family now who are missing their son because of the tragedy that and the killing that has happened so far. And we hope that justice will be meted out finally for every Kenyan to also know that they are at peace when it comes with the encounters with police officers at the end of the day. As always, just remind you, in essentials, unity; in non-essentials, liberty; in all things, charity. Let us unite on matters essentials, and in some things that we know we don't have to split hairs on as well, let us give charity. Thank you for your valued company. You've been watching The Insight here on TV 47. Good night.